Welcome to Kingdom Friday Fight Night. I'm here joined by my co-host Brett Baker and our special guest for today, Billy Adams. How are you, Billy, mate?
Good to be here. Feels a bit weird not fighting, but still enjoying it.
Sick. Yeah, so Billy, obviously last time we saw you out at Kingdom, you had a sick war. Really put the work in over 3 rounds, got the win, got the strap. Now, are you still training?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm back out there in 3 weeks for FCC for their belt, and then maybe looking on my pro debut in the next Kingdom show in Feb.
I think going back to your last fight on Kingdom, I mean, me and Brett, we've done a fair few fights now on Kingdom, and that was by far the most entertaining fight that we've seen on Kingdom so far.
Yeah, I got to agree, man. Some war.
It was a good fight. It was nice to get the 5 rounds in. Obviously, a lot of experience learned from that. Going up the weight class as well, so them few extra kilos, I felt them in there, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially the 5 rounds. I got it wrong. I said 3.
5 rounds, yes.
But yeah, man, I mean, you were just saying before off camera how you've kind of needed that break in between your last fight and obviously your upcoming fight. I mean, how hard was that fight to kind of get over? Because you, like I said, it was a war.
5 rounds. Non-stop.
We're going from 3 fights before that, they're all finished in the first round. Coming out of the first round to the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. It's nice to know I can and get the experience from it. And a few things happening in the fights where I weathered through it and come back, and knowing I can do that, it's given me a lot more confidence.
I suppose that's testament to the people you're training with as well. And
yes.
don't you cross-train between 2 gyms?
Yeah, Trident and Aspire. So I've got Trident over in Bromborough, over the water on the Wirral, and then Aspire. That's over this side, and I'm lucky enough to bounce between the 2, yeah.
Yeah, so there's plenty of teammates on tonight.
Yes, we've got Jack McLeod fighting from Trident, who's fighting a lad from Mazda. That's going to be a very good fight. Obviously, Jack's coming off 2 round finishes, first round finishes himself.
He's no messing about. He gets in there, gets the job done.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking on a really early night again there, to be honest. I think so.
And you were saying as well, he's just come back from Thailand this year. Went out to Thailand, got some good training, got some good experience. It's sick that we were speaking before about how, with MMA, it's amazing how you can get to travel so many different places. And you were saying when you were in your boxing career how the cross training with the gyms wasn't really a thing, and how in MMA it's a lot more kind of celebrated, if you like, and it's obviously a lot more useful to add tools.
Well, as we were saying, it's a breath of fresh air that we can go to other gyms, and because there's so much to learn in MMA, I mean, with the boxing, it's one discipline. With MMA, you're learning jiu-jitsu one day, wrestling the next, judo the next day, so it's nice to get in and about and learn different techniques and see how they go there.
Yeah, and I always think like a high tide raises all ships.
Yes.
So you can pick something up, bring it back to the gym, because not everybody's got the opportunity to go somewhere else. Say go to Thailand. We've got these guys are amateurs, but they're still flying out to other countries, to full-time gyms, training like professionals. And they're bringing that knowledge back with them to some people who maybe can't go, and that's just elevating the game. Like you see it, especially in the Northwest, it's kind of like its own little island of MMA where everybody is behind the next person, pushing them to get better. But you see it on Kingdom all the time. The level's just jumping up every single time.
And like you were saying, Kingdom, kind of the whole ethos behind it, and, you said that one of the first things that Gav Melia said to you was, this is a show that, we're not trying to put cans to fight each other. This is a show where we want to get amateurs the best test, because you want to face your test at amateur. It's not like boxing where we're trying to stab pad people and we're trying to get people to have a perfect undefeated record. It's MMA, it's impossible. So, I mean, what do you take to having experience like that where, there's no egos to trying to protect that record, and, it's all about the experience in your amateurs?
Well, yeah, Gav hit the nail straight away on the head. The first time I come and met Gav, he said, look, we're not looking on no bums, no cans over here. We're looking on matching you properly to take you to the next level into the pro game, and that's what you need. You need that sort of experience. You need to go through them sluggish fights and test yourself against different styles, because you're going to end up finding it one time when you turn pro.
Of course, yeah, and it's like you've only got to look through the card, you know what I mean? We've got like Eunice versus McDonough here. Wow. Like what a fight that is. 2 massive prospects taking it from the junior rank, stepping up into A-class MMA. They've already got as much experience as you get an amateur 5-6 years ago. That'd be their entire career. They've got it already at that young age, and it'd be so easy. Like McDonough's making his A-class debut today. Yes. So if you guys at home, if you don't know what the difference is, it means he's going to have more headshots, a little bit I think, are the rounds any longer? Yeah, he's got a lot more going on. It would be so easy to get a lad like that and say, just put him in with somebody. We know he's just going to walk through. No, he's stepping up. And Eunice as well, they're taking on like a tough battle each way, and you've got to hand it to the guys like that.
And hand it to the coaches as
And
well.
to the coaches,
because it's very easy for a coach to sit there and get you guys an easy fight. You know, it looks better for the gym, but to put these guys in, we were saying, I mean, McDonough's record so far. I mean, IMAF world champ, 4 Nations champ. I mean, he's achieved incredible things for someone that's only 16. And you know, we were speaking to Callum Mullen a few days ago, and he speaks so highly of Eunice. So, you know, these guys are 2 guys who, you know, seems like they're going to have a bright future in MMA. I wouldn't be surprised if you probably see these guys fight again down the line in like 4 or 5 years. But to see this fight happening now, I think is almost a pleasure as well for us guys.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
When you get to be there for these guys at the beginning of their career and to see what they could potentially achieve, it's an honour.
For sure. That's probably my favourite fight, other than obviously the lads that are fighting from my gym. I mean, that's a fight I look out for, Bradley McConnell versus Shahad. Brad actually come down to Trident to do a camp with jiu-jitsu with our head coach, jiu-jitsu coach, Harry McKnight, and he was really sharp. And obviously I know Callum and Tom very well.
Yeah.
With them training down at Aspire and what they're doing down at Strike King. So
I mean, I was speaking to Callum about, you know, what him and his brother, like you said, are doing at Strike Kings. And I think Bradford, from what I know from a lot of friends I have in Bradford, it's a tough city, man. It's people who, you know, love to fight. There's a lot of issues in the city, so it breeds some absolute killers. And for the young youth of Bradford to have people like Tom and Callum to look up to as fighters, and let alone, and then now to have a gym where it's a safe space to get these kids off the streets, get these kids not doing silly things, and to have that platform, I think what they're doing is incredible.
I think as well, when you get these little, it's a similar pocket to like the Northwest, because I've trained with a lot of lads who in and around Leeds and Bradford, because I used to train in Leeds and live in Leeds. You seem to get, it's like a culture where you've got a couple of generations of fighters. So the lads coming through have always got somebody to look up to.
Yeah.
And they just want to get in the gym at a young age, and that's the thing. They're not walking in at like 18. I don't know what MMA is, but I've come to give it a go. These kids are watching it from day one.
Yeah.
So by the time they're 16, they've got such a well-rounded skill set, and they're already acting professional. And it just makes our job as commentators so much easier, because there's so much to talk about, you know what I mean? And the whole thing, I think that's great now that like people are really not only travelling to train, but travelling to fight. I was talking to Shane Howard earlier. He's come from Combat Academy. And I said, I've never heard of that gym, bro. Where is it? Helsinki, Finland. He's travelled because he wants to fight. He's travelled to Kingdom. And, you know, if you come into Kingdom, you're not getting an easy match.
Hats off
to him. Hats off to him. You're going to get a super competitive matchup. And I'm looking to that fight as well, because, like, me and Paul, we do say whenever we get an international fight, it's exciting because the meta game's a little bit different. Like, if they're not from this area, they're probably going to fight with a different style.
100%.
And it does open up doors. It does open up for an exciting fight.
And it's the same that can be said for Numberega and Ramos, who are both fighting from knuckleheads from Madeira. I mean, I think it says a lot about the character of someone when you're not only stepping into a cage, but you're traveling to a different country, you're on your away soil, to come and face these guys, excuse my language, to come and face these guys in a country that you're not used to, willing to step into the cage, willing to take that risk, it just speaks volumes as to what you're willing to do to achieve your dreams and achieve, you know, something that's incredibly difficult
100%
to do.
agree.
I think as well, sometimes like styles make fights. So when you've got people from different areas and come with different styles, it can be more exciting.
Of course.
Because, like for me, for example, like I said, I used to live in Leeds, train in Leeds. I live in Sheffield now. I've got my own gym. We're all similar from a similar lineage, so we know similar techniques, similar moves, similar pathways to winning a fight. So, like the way we train might be very similar to the gym up the road, the way they train. But when you, like for example, when we had Nations Collide, we got so many Spanish fighters in. Their game's different. So it's super exciting to watch because, one, you don't know what they're going to do. But it just opens up things like, we're not trying to counteract the same moves. Sometimes it's like, it is fighting fire with fire, but for a fan, when you're watching the fights like that, not only do you get that added element of like, oh, it's a bit of a, I don't know, there's a bit of drama, you know, because it's different country versus different country. There's already a story. You just get sometimes like a wild card thrown in there, and you're like, what is that? We've never seen it before.
Well, and it's also, like I said, that hunger.
That hunger, yeah.
You can kind of become a bit complacent when you're fighting in your home city and, you know, all your mates are here, and you can kind of sometimes walk into it thinking the job's done before it's done, and before you know it, you're, you know, looking across the cage and someone's there to take your head off. and you just never know. So it's a hats off to these guys. I mean, I think we should get into some of the title fights.
Yeah, let's talk about it, bro.
The first one, the bantamweight title for Tommy Clark against Luke Burns. I mean, we were just speaking before again about how, amateur experience is crucial, and, there shouldn't be so much of a focus on trying to have that undefeated record.
Yep.
And I think these two guys are perfect examples of that. I mean, their amateur experience is loads. I mean, they've both got over 10 fights, and they've both really been around fighting the best guys in their division. I mean, Luke Burns has fought Conor Walsh, and we obviously know how good Conor Walsh is, and the same can be said for Tommy Clark. So, I think both these guys are great all over. Tommy's got some really good submissions, and same for Luke as well.
Well, I think it's actually very, very good matchmaking from Gav, because he was actually meant to be fighting someone else before it, which obviously a pull-out a few weeks ago. So the fact that they can get Tommy Clark, and hats off to Tommy Clark for turning up, it's an opportunity you're not going to turn down to fight for the Kingdom belt in a few weeks, but still takes a lot of balls to step up, and so good on them.
And then you've got to be ready. You've got to stay ready. It's like the opportunities come at the drop of a hat sometimes, like quite literally, and if you're not ready, if you're like ballooning between fights, or you're not quite staying in the gym, staying sharp, or you're not around in the gym, you ain't going to get them opportunities. So at amateur, it's not about like a big 12-long camp, is it? It's about someone rings you up, it's like, we need you to fight for a belt in 3 weeks. It's like, let's go. No 2 days about it, let's go, because that could be a break for you, you know what I mean?
Staying ready, not getting
Staying ready, not getting ready.
At amateur or pro as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think especially more at amateur, because actually, I've heard Danny Mitchell speak about this before, is that there can be sometimes a bit of an idea for some amateurs that they kind of need a massive camp and they need a whole thing, but it's like sometimes, man, amateurs, it's just all about just getting up and just saying, let's just go with it, and just kind of taking that risk.
Yeah, and you never know what that opportunity is going to be. It could be to fly out to a different country, could be to get a belt, or it could just be a fight you've been chasing. You never know.
Yeah.
Like, for me as well, I'm really excited about this fight, because Luke Burns, last time I was out, I was really impressed by not only his durability, but like his ability to try and like, he was really listening to his corner, really trying to implement what they were saying. So like, I'd be excited to see him out again.
Yeah, he's really sharp, Burns. And that was a flyweight as well, which I think maybe was taking a bit too much off him. Now at bantamweight, he's got that little bit extra behind his punch, and he's comfortable at that weight, so I think he'll pick it up and do well tonight.
And something I picked up on as well was he's got a notable win over Daniel Bainbridge out of TFT, who's obviously now a pro, and he's a really good fighter, and obviously amateur's different, but to have a win over someone like that, I think that just goes to show the skill of Luke Burns.
And the not just the skill, but like the general progression, the future where he can go in the sport. This is good. It's a good time for him, you know what I mean? He's still a young lad. So much experience for a young lad. He's got a lot of growing to do still, and I'm quite happy to be here and sit and be able to watch both of him and Clark.
Yep.
Watch him just keep fighting. It's like sometimes we have to remember that we're commentators and not fans.
Yeah.
Because you can just be like, I'll make them fight again. But they need to fight other people. So sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say another thing. That's off to Burnsy. Don't want to keep going on about it because he's a teammate. But he lost to Conor Walsh, and then 2 weeks later took a fight on UKFC and ended up stopping a really good lad in about 15 seconds in the weight class above, which is bantamweight. So I really think he's found his feet into that weight class, which is good to see.
Do you think amateurs cut too much weight?
I think they can, but I think everyone's just trying to stay ahead in the game. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you could take the risk of going up a weight and fighting at welterweight, but are they coming down from middleweight? I mean, if everyone was keeping a fair playing field, then it'd make a bit more sense, but everyone's just trying to stay up with the curve.
Talking about, kids with bright futures, let's talk about Lever versus Ramos. That's our next title fight, European title. Yeah, Luis Lever, he's one of those guys who's been doing it his entire life.
Savage.
Yeah.
Absolute savage.
And I think we interviewed him last time out.
Yeah, because I think he was meant to fight on Nations Collide, and it fell through during the fight week. Yeah, I believe
due to an injury, but we've got him in the cage tonight, and he was saying he's working so hard on his grappling and his all-round game. But what really impresses me about him is he's very measured.
Yes.
He's good at his distance. He doesn't just bull rush through guys. He gets them against the cage, strikes over the top, shoots, breaks off the shot, few strikes. It's for such a young lad, this is what I'm getting at.
Very mature.
Very mature way. Keeps his head.
He's got his head on his shoulders, and I think this is his first fight since February. So I think he's definitely going to be keen to kind of get the leather on and
and it's fighting for his first title fight, which is very, very deserved. And I think he will turn up and do it and put a show on for everyone.
And anybody coming from Portugal to fight, the game.
Yes.
It's not
like Diego.
That's it.
Fight. always.
Yeah, and he's been on the regional scene. You know, he's fought all of his fights on UKFC, so he's no stranger.
He's a perfect example for an amateur fighter. He's not really asked about records.
Yeah.
He turns up, he fights, he wants to get that experience, and that's what everyone should be doing.
Excellent.
Challenging yourself and not being afraid to. I mean, people are afraid in life in general to take a loss, but sometimes that loss could be, you know, the most important thing that you've had for your growth and development. So, hats off to him. Obviously, Anthony McGovern and Craig McGrattan.
Should we get into it?
That I think obviously is now the main event. We've not got the pro fight anymore, so that is now the main event for
I think
tonight.
that's a better main event than the original,
I would
personally.
Agree. Yeah, I would agree as well. I mean, I was speaking to Gav about this fight, and it's crazy that, you know, for a couple of years he was trying to get Anthony into MMA and he wasn't really so sure. And so for someone who took so much convincing to get into MMA, to how good he is, you know, I mean, his striking is incredible. He's boxed for England, and you know, going full blown MMA now is just unreal. I know that he's been training at Next Gen as well a lot for this fight, getting some good sparring in with some of the lads there, and yeah, I mean, I can't speak highly enough of Anthony McGovern. I think he's really got a good future. But the same could be said for Craig McGrattan as well.
Yeah, and I think boxing is such a good base for MMA, amateur boxing specifically, because of the footwork.
Yes.
Like when you get a lad come in the gym and you know he's got a bit of a boxing background, so you see a lot of the other lads. All right, I'll shoot, I'll take him down. No, you won't. Steps off, check left hook.
It's the range control,
it's
isn't
the
it?
range control. Yeah.
You can really find, you can really tell when someone's going heavy on the front foot when you come from an amateur background. I don't know what it is. It just comes natural.
And I think with the way MMA is evolving now as well, so you don't see like big long combinations, you don't see big 6, 7, 8 shot combos, because people are trying to protect themselves, people are being smarter, people don't want to get into wars where they take unnecessary damage. That amateur boxing style of getting in and getting out, it works so well for a longer fight career.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and I really like commentating on fights like that, because it's just movement. And this is what we're going to get here, because both guys, they don't take a back step, but they're both super skilled in the way that they can move around the cage.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I think this card, for even though it's not meant to be one of the bigger shows, even though it's a Friday fight night, I mean, this card is just stacked from top to bottom. Great matchmaking, and I think we were saying we don't want it to be a commentator's curse, but we've got a feeling that it's going to be a very good night of fights. I mean, speaking of fights, we'll just go back to you, Billy. Obviously, you have got your upcoming fight on FCC, but the plan for you is to be going pro.
That's the plan. I've spoke to my coaches and they said we'll have this last fight. It's a good fight against a good lad. That's all we're looking for, just as you can see from the past fights. And then it'd be lovely to get me pro debut in the Bowlers Arena in Manchester, because I think that's going to be an absolute hell of a show.
Yeah, it's a treat for us as well.
Yes.
Like, you've been out in this cage more than once, man. And every time you've gone in, you've jumped a level.
Yes.
You've jumped a level mentally and physically, because it's like he's getting. I always said, like, Billy the Kid, fast shooter, like, he's getting sharper. So with them 4-ounce gloves on, it's different, man.
Elbows
and knees, because of your range when you're controlling your range. We're excited.
Yeah,
we're excited for that.
Very excited.
Myself.
Yeah. And I think we're just excited in general to be at the Bowlers. I think next year, you know, we've got great fights lined up already. Some haven't been announced. We've got the likes of Jordan Rutherford returning.
Yes.
But, you know, it's just going to be the biggest show Kingdom will put on to date. So make sure you're there for February. It's just going to be, you know, a wild fight. You know, I think it's even going to show the levels of Kingdom, you know, the seriousness of where this promotion wants to go. This promotion wants to be the biggest promotion in the UK, and it's making all the right moves to be heading in that direction in such a short amount of time.
Well, that's the coolest thing about, like, we're doing that, the Bowlers, and that'll be like probably a Saturday show, and this is a Friday show. It's like
stacked.
It's stacked, and there's always going to be opportunities for people to fight. Like, if they want to fight and they want a good fight, like, they can come to Kingdom. They've not got to wait for 1-2 shows a year where you're like fight number 3 of 30. It's like you said it brilliantly earlier. You said quality over quantity.
Yes.
So you're getting these different tiers, and you can work through one, and you can work onto another. More pros on one, more amateurs on another. Like, it's a great proving ground, because you're going to have direction then. If you could start with Kingdom, and you can go all the way from your first fight to like your 10th fight and onwards. Like, because you're always going to have someone to get matched against.
For sure.
Like, from all over the country, all over Europe, it seems, at the minute.
And I think everyone's thankful for that. I think the fans are thankful for the shorter fight cards, because you're waiting around all day and it gets a bit watered down. The fighters appreciate it because they're not waiting around to fight all day. The coaches, I think everyone's thankful of them shorter fight cards with more quality on them.
Yeah, we are as commentators, for sure.
For sure. I just want to bring up one more thing before we let you go, Billy. Obviously, you're very good friends with Lee McCracken, and I think the whole MMA community has shown an incredible amount of support for Liam. I mean, the money that was raised in such a short amount of time was incredible. But I just want to speak to you because obviously you've probably had more direct contact with Liam. But how's he doing?
He's great. He's just like, you just can't stop him. He's just every day just improving massively on his health, and it's scary. He's like the Terminator. He truly is he's like the Terminator. It was only last week I seen him just doing light pads, and I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy how much progress you've made in a short amount of time for how serious the injury was. But it just doesn't surprise me either, because I know what type of character he's got.
I mean, I was saying, I think the first video that he posted when he was lying on his hospital bed, obviously it was a message to everyone that had shown some support, was making a joke about how he got TKO'd by the boss.
Cracking jokes.
And I think that just goes to show the resilience that he has, and how no matter how horrific this thing has been, he's just got such a positive outlook on it. And I just want to, on behalf of myself and Kingdom and the whole MMA community, I mean, we're all with Liam and we all want to see him get back in there and have that amazing story. And I'm just looking forward to seeing him get back to full health.
Yeah, he's still on the same path. I know that mentality he's got, so nothing would change on that behalf.
But yeah, Billy, thank you very much for coming on, man. I appreciate
it, lads.
Cheers, bro.
Yes. We're about to get on the one and only JP Caldercut. So we're back. JP, man. How are we, bro?
JP.
Thank you for having me on.
No worries, man. It's a pleasure. I think just first initial reaction. Obviously, we've not spoke to you since your last fight on Kingdom.
Last fight, yeah.
How have the last few months been?
Been all right, mate. One loss doesn't define me as a person and in the sport. There was stuff that I'd done in that last fight that I didn't do for the first camp, and it sort of got me. But I'm not going to sit here and cry and moan about it. The stars aligned for him and it never for me, but I know where I'm going. It's no problem with me, and I'll show it, and I can't wait to show it, so no problem.
Well, that's it at the end of the day, man. Like, you're a fighter through and through. You know where you're going.
That's it.
You don't need... there's going to be these tests, and you need to take these tests, don't you? Because you're one of them guys who's going to want to fight the best fights you can get. We were talking about that earlier.
Of course,
it's so easy to line up like, oh, but he's 10-0, he's 10-0. Yeah, but who's he for? You know what I mean? It's like, if you can get them testing earlier, and you're in the Northwest, like, you're going to fight tough guys up here. You've got all the best gyms. And it's just a testament, like, you train at a great gym as well.
That's
You've got great training partners. And, like, for me, I come all the way up here from Yorkshire to commentate, and I get super excited because I know when I come to Liverpool, it's cracking fights. It's cracking fights. Like, we get teams from Next Gen, Titanium. There's so many good scraps up here. And it's like, whenever I see that, whenever I see them names on these fight cards, I'm like, yeah, get strapped in. It's going to be some good fights.
That's it though. If I would have went in and blasted them out in 17 seconds like I did the other one, I wouldn't have learnt nothing. But I learnt more about the build-up, and we ain't really a skill set problem. It was the build-up. I never done the things I'd done in the first fight in the second, and it cost me. So, but the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and start making excuses and whatnot, but at the end of the day, he did miss weight as well, and I gave him the weight advantage, and that was another thing. But like I said, I turned up the fight and I fought, but lad, I come up short. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and cry and moan about it. Hopefully I'll get him again at one point, and we can do it again, you know what I mean? But like I said, I believe in my skill set. I know how good I am. A lot of people know how good I am. My team know how good I am. So, but it's all good me saying it. But I've got that in me to show it now and be like, I've got that venom in me just to be like, yeah, I can't wait. I'll just honestly mate, I can't wait for the next one. So I can just literally put a clinic on, just massacre whoever it is in front of me, and I can't wait to do it. Yeah, honestly, mate.
Sometimes that, like a loss, we were saying about that earlier, can light a fire under your belly and just give you that, look, we're getting back in there. We're rectifying this. We're making the necessary adjustments and just moving forward. Like, we love to see that. You see that so much anyway, commentating on fights. We'll see lads on here, like, we don't get too hung up on who's won and who's lost. We're all always talking about performances. Like, when the show's done and me and Paul are chatting after before we go our separate ways, we're always talking about who's putting on an impressive performance.
Yeah.
We're not looking at it like DJs, like who's got this record, who's got that record.
That's it.
We talk about heart, we talk about spirit, we talk about technique, we talk about tactics, people who can come back from bad situations, people who can make the most of a sticky situation. And like that's what fighting's all about, right?
Of course, yeah.
That's what fighting's all about.
All the greatest fighters in the world have lost. Mike Tyson's lost, Muhammad Ali's lost, Khabib's lost at one point in his life. I'm no different. I get that everyone's human, everyone's got an off switch, anyone can be tapped out or choked out. I understand the sport, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm indestructible, because I'm not. But I do know my skill set, and I can do that to any fighter on the planet, so it's no problem. I can't wait to show it again.
What's the pathway for your return? Like, where do you see
Just
your
keep
next
getting
fight?
better, mate. I'm not, like I said, I don't focus on no one else, I focus on myself. That's all I can do. If I go in worried about anyone else, my own game will just get shut down. So I focus on me. I can only focus on my skill set. I can't do what they do. The only thing I can sort of control is me, and that's all I'm focused on is me. So I don't care who comes up against me. I'm just focused on me, and that's it. But the pathway to me is just fight whoever they put in front of me. And
have you got an idea of when you'd like to get back in the cage?
I'm open February, but I've got to get my body right first at the same time. Like I said, I'm not just going to rush my body just because as much as I want to fight, it's not about rushing, it's about taking the right steps. And
yeah,
especially at amateur.
Yeah, that's what cost me the last fight, was just some certain steps that I've done that I never done in the first fight, and it cost me dearly because, mate, I've never been so flat in all my life in that last fight, and it happened to me on that night, and unfortunately you got the win, but it is what it is, mate. Like, people go, oh, this and that, me Lucas weren't cold enough. I'm not going to sit here and start crying, moaning, saying this and that and whatever. It's not me, lad. At the end of the day, I could fight him again. I could fight him and literally just throw him in a round, and then what? Do you know what I mean? Be like, oh, sound. But like I said, I can only beat who's in front of me. It was his night. He won the lottery that night, and fair enough. No matter what I say, he's got the win. I'm not going to sit here and cry and be like, whatever, this and that. But it is what it is. I turned out to fight and I lost. It's that simple, lad.
Yeah, you just get back in the gym, get working, and you've got some great teammates in here fighting tonight. So like, for me, it's one of the most exciting gyms to watch. Yeah. So I've got absolutely no doubt on you, man.
No, of course, mate. Like as well as just like, there's so many talent, there's so much talent as well about now. Like, anyone, it's MMA. Anyone can beat anyone. Like you're seeing in the UFC now, all the greatest fighters are getting beat. Anyone can beat anyone. If you're in the sport and think that it's just like ease way ahead. It's not like boxing where you get in and fight all these journeymen till you get to 20, you know. Like these fighters nowadays, some of them have got losing records and still talented fighters. Like anyone can turn anyone's leg off with one punch or one kick or one submission. That's why it's the greatest sport in the world.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
So, like, that's all I can say on that. Like, a lot of it, I'm not into making excuses, lad. Like I can sit here and say this and that, but it's not me, lad, and I just can't wait to just get going again.
Sick. That's what keeps the sport exciting, right? Yeah. So hopefully we do see you again soon.
We will.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
I'm coming to be active next year, and like I said, I'm gonna put on vicious, violent performances, and that's what I'm gonna do. Like I said, it's all right me saying it, but I need to show it now. I'm back training. All I can do now is just keep on saying until I get masked up, and then I'll do me talking in the octagon as well. So
perfect. Well, JP, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it, thank you.
You know, we're not far away from the start of an amazing card. Make sure you go to the Kingdom YouTube channel and the Kingdom Instagram page. The first fight is going to be live on the YouTube channel, and then obviously if you want to tune into the fights, which is I highly suggest you would, make sure you get the pay-per-view stream. And the first fight is live at 6:30, so it's been an honour. I'm looking forward to some great title fights, the best amateur fights you're going to see around, really. So make sure you tune in. I'll be with Brett on commentary. JP's going to be watching the stands, probably wishing that he was in there. But that's it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Violence.
Let's go.